Protect your privacy online with the best VPN for gaming, ExpressVPN, and visit expressvpn.com/ghilliemaster, linked in the description, to find out how you can get 3 months free. Hey everyone, and welcome back to another GTA Online video here on the channel. Now today we're going to be talking about a rumor that has been going around the community. It all stems from this tweet from someone named Matthias. He's leaked a few things in the past and was right about a couple of things pertaining to the GTA Trilogy Definitive Edition and them announcing that they are working on GTA 6. There has been some talks about whether or not he is credible, but that's not really the point of this video. Obviously you should take everything with a grain of salt unless it's from Rockstar themselves, but the tweet says that there's a big summer update coming to GTA Online and we'll see good connections between them, map expansion. And then there's the glasses, the Statue of Liberty, which in GTA terms translates to seeing Liberty City soon, because that's obviously where the Statue of Liberty is. Or in GTA's terms, the Statue of Happiness. I'm not here to discuss the validity of what he's saying, I just want to talk about why this could happen in GTA Online and also why it couldn't. Kind of give you both sides of the coin in one video. So first, why a Liberty City expansion would make sense. The next-gen versions of GTA 5 just came out, which means that if they wanted to do something massive like a map expansion to Liberty City, they very well could, because the systems could now handle that type of thing. And it would probably be in their best interest to try to wow people over, especially because the next-gen versions of GTA 5 weren't really that well received. On top of that, GTA Plus just put a bad taste in everyone's mouth, so they could really try to win the community over again with something big like a map expansion. The timing wouldn't be more perfect for it. Another reason why it makes sense is that we've been playing in Los Santos for almost 10 years with no new areas added to explore. I don't really count Cayo Perico because you can't explore that. It's more of a heist location at the end of the day. We're definitely at a time where GTA could use a brand new area to free mode in and just have fun exploring again. If you've noticed, Rockstar have been holding off on adding cars that were in GTA 4, vehicles like the original Coquette, the original Turismo, the Super GT, just to name a few of the more exotic ones. There are obviously many more iconic ones like the PMP 600, for example. That's been heavily requested. The Huntley Sport. There's just so many cars from GTA 4 that could be brought into GTA Online that would be great. Maybe the reason that they have refrained from adding in cars from GTA 4 is because they were planning a Liberty City DLC at some point, which would be the perfect time to add in all those legendary vehicles from that game. Getting a Liberty City car pack with a ton of the cars from GTA 4 on top of a map expansion would be freaking sweet. And the final reason why a Liberty City map expansion would make sense is just the natural progression in the size and scale of updates as the time has moved forward. Think about this for a second. The original heist update consisted of contact-style missions that took place entirely outside of free mode. None of that content was in free mode aside from the vehicles, obviously. With the Doomsday heist, we got prep missions that took place in free mode, albeit a majority of the content was still outside of free mode with the setup missions and the heist finales themselves, but they were starting to dip their toes in the water with the free mode activities and having some of the things be in free mode. I know the other updates before Doomsday Heist were also free mode oriented with businesses, but just looking at the major heist updates in general, there's a very clear progression in the design of them. Moving on for the Doomsday Heist, we had the Casino Heist, and with this, all of the prep missions and setup missions took place in free mode. You didn't have to go to a separate lobby at all to prepare for the heist. And finally, with Cayo Perico, it was the same sort of system as the Casino Heist, but this time, the heist took place on an entirely new area of the map. You couldn't explore this area outside of the heist, but it was a brand new area that we've never seen before in the GTA series. I think the obvious next step here would be a new area, but instead of it being completely locked to a mission, it's just freely open to explore for the players. That is really the only way that the updates can get bigger from the Cayo Perico heist, in my opinion. As cool as the Contract and LS Tuners updates were, they didn't have that same massive feeling that the Cayo Perico heist gave you. They felt smaller in comparison to Cayo Perico. But that's just one side of the argument. Now let's discuss why a map expansion to Liberty City wouldn't be very plausible. And the first one is the last gen consoles. If we're talking about this update coming out in the summertime, well, that would be the first update since the release of the game on the newer systems, which is great for those who do have the newer systems, but a lot of people are still playing on old gen. And assuming we get the summer update in July or August like we normally do, that would only be 4 or so months for the people on old gen to transfer over, because to tell you the truth, I don't think the old consoles could handle a map expansion as big as a Liberty City expansion. Even if it wasn't the entire Liberty City, I still don't think those consoles could handle it. Cayo Perico already ran extremely bad on those last gen consoles, and that was while you were there by yourself. Imagine having a whole lobby of players on that new area. And if the old gen consoles wouldn't be able to handle the map expansion, would Rockstar just be ready to drop support for last gen in just a few months' time? Looking back at how Rockstar dropped support for PS3 and Xbox 360, they got the heist update as well as Ill-Gotten Gains Part 1 and 2 before being put to rest. The original heist update came out in March of 2015, while the final Ill-Gotten Gains update came out in July of 2015. But the PS4 and Xbox One versions released in November of 2014, which means that last gen back then was supported for about 8 months before being left behind. I find it very hard to believe that the PS4 and Xbox One versions won't get at least one more update before they stop supporting them completely, which would make a Liberty City map expansion unlikely, at least for the summer DLC. Unless the entire map expansion is exclusive to new gen and all old gen gets are some cars or weapons, that might also be the case. And if I remember correctly, I believe some parts of the Ill-Gotten Gains updates were exclusive to Xbox One and PS4. But those are probably minor things at best. Excluding an entire map to next gen while last gen just gets some cars, I feel like that wouldn't be the best idea. Despite it being really late in GTA Online's lifecycle being a reason that we could see map expansion because we're definitely ready for one, it also could be a reason why we don't get one, because we already know they're deep in development on the next GTA title, so would it make sense for them to bring in a map expansion to GTA Online at this point in time, where the game will most likely be dropped for the new iteration in another year and a half? It all depends on how they're going to handle the transition to GTA Online 2 or whatever they're going to call it. I just feel like if I was a game developer and I was putting all this work into a map expansion, I would want that to stay relevant in the current game for at least a few years rather than adding it in right before support is going to be completely dropped to then be put on the successor of GTA Online. It's definitely an interesting topic though. What do you guys think about the idea of a map expansion to Liberty City or even any new area for that matter? And do you think it would make sense at this point for them to even try to incorporate something like a map expansion? If you enjoyed the video or found it helpful, feel free to leave a like, as well as subscribe to my channel for more GTA Online content. I want to give a huge shout out to all my channel members for your support. If you'd like to become a member for some exclusive perks, you can either use the join button or the link that's down in the description. And as always, thanks for watching and have a great day.